Don't feel nobody, I'm rocking, feel God. Can't rob a two cause I ain't feeling God. I made a bet you could be the odds. He can shine through me cause I'm the son of God.
So how you feel today, Nelly?
Today was a rough day. I'm not gonna lie. I
Really?
almost didn't make it.
Almost didn't make. What do
Yeah.
you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Like I'm here. I've been here for an hour. Like
I was contemplating because, you know, whenever I show up in spaces, I like to show up as like my best self. So if I'm not feeling like my best self, I'm just like, can we do it another day, please? But I've also been learning a lot about like pushing forward and just like sitting in the uncomfortableness of like the uncertain things in my life. So I was like, you know what? We're going to show up today. We're just going to show up and see what happens.
Well, I appreciate that.
Sorry. You didn't know that.
But, you know, I'm glad you said that because, you know, when we're in our downs or are in an uncomfortable space, that allows us to be our most authentic self.
Yeah, for sure. And God has definitely been working a lot with me in that area. So,
right. So why do you say he's been working a lot with you on your authenticity and things like that?
Not necessarily my authenticity, but just like having more faith and like, because I'm kind of a control freak. Not gonna lie. I like to control things. I like things my way or the highway. But I feel like the more older I get, the more I'm like, okay, God, this is actually your doing and not mine. So I need to like get out the car and let you drive for a little bit. But it's so hard because I'm a control freak. So I feel like I've just been trying to navigate like having more faith, even when I don't feel certain things, to just trust that he's still there with me. You know, that everything is really going to work out for my good. So
that's fine.
Cheers to showing up.
Definitely cheers to showing up. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you mentioned all these things, you know, personal to you, but I seen on your page and I seen all that you're about. You're a public speaker. You're here to empower women. I want you to dive deeper on like what specifically are like how are you empowering women? Is it spiritually? Is it mentally, knowing who they are? Is it helping them know what they're capable of? Like dive deeper into that.
I really love that question. So by the way, guys, this is a Christian space, so don't take anything that I say out of context. So I believe
I appreciate the disclaimer.
We just gotta let y'all know, because these days people be acting a little crazy, like Jesus Christ is the Lord. But anyways, so I believe in mind, body, and soul, right? Connection for sure. And I feel like as a woman, sometimes we take care of one and not the other. So when it comes to like how I empower women, I try to incorporate mind, body, and soul. So spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things, not even for women, but for men in general, are so important. But I live my life based off of tender... Pause.
That was me. That's crazy. My phone was not on. Hey, I'm gonna keep that in there to keep things live. But that was me, Ashley. Shout out to you for calling me on the podcast. But go ahead, mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul is so important. So I just try to tend to like those three things to make me feel whole, I guess you can say. So I have a nonprofit called Full Bloom. And I called it Full Bloom because growing up, I grew up in Haiti, by the way, y'all. I know I'm American, but I'm also Haitian too.
Shout out to the Zoes. You know?
Shout out to the Zoes. And I just remember, you know, I live in Cajac, so everything's just very like islandy and peaceful, tropical, you know, so there's so much flowers. And I remember just always being at my grandma's house and just always looking at flowers bloom. Like, so I got kind of interested in how does a flower necessarily bloom? Like there's so many aspects into taking care and nurturing a flower. And I kind of started to take that connotation or that concept and applying it to my life. Like feeling like, okay, I have to water myself. I have to nurture myself. I have to take care of my mind, body, and soul in order for me to bloom. So I feel like that's how I basically help women in that aspect of understanding of how to connect your mind, your body, and your soul.
So when did you feel that it was time or necessary for you to bloom or for you to figure out your own process to get you to bloom?
I would say when I first started Full Bloom, which was that's so crazy because I literally told this story before on a podcast. Shout out to you too. But I started in 2019 during COVID, where everything was just isolated. Things were depressing for a lot of people, but I just tried to make the best of it. And I felt like around that time, I was losing a lot of friends that I found a lot of my identity in.
Okay. That's a slippery slope.
We being real now.
That's a slippery slope.
Don't worry about it. Jesus saved me, but I'm just saying. Sometimes when you don't truly know who you are, you tend to like latch on to other people for it to make sense to you, you know?
So walk us through that mindset. Like, when did you realize that those people held your identity? Was it you just didn't know yourself? You didn't like to show yourself?
When they left and I didn't know who I was anymore.
How so? Like,
so a lot of my friends around that time, because I also grew up in church, so I had a lot of like church friends, you know? And when I started college, I would base like my friendships based off of my church friends. So I didn't really know how to connect with other people rather than my church friends. So during COVID, when church was closed, nobody's going to church anymore. We're not really seeing each other no more. Things start getting weird.
Zoom leglies.
Yeah. Zoom leglies for real. Nobody's really talking as much. So I'm just like in my space by myself.
Yeah.
I think that's when I started to realize like, dang, I don't really know who I am for real, because I was by myself and I'm just like, what's going on with me? Like, why do I feel like this? What should I do? God, what's my purpose? Like, it's so many questions just running in my mind that I'm just like, okay, a lot of your identity was found through people and not through Christ.
But that's good that you was having those thoughts. Most people would just fall into depression and not want to have those thoughts. Or are scared
that
of
was
those thoughts.
Depression, though. That was definitely the depression. The depression was me sitting with myself and asking myself a bit. I'm not answering these questions, by the way. They're just running through my mind. And I'm just sitting there like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I feel happy? Why can't I feel joyful? Even though COVID was hard, I lost my job. I lost my friends. I lost basically everything. In the midst of that, I still felt like I was better off than more people, which I should have been grateful for. But I couldn't really sit in that because I'm just like, dang, nobody talking to me no more. Like, I don't hear from this person. I don't hear from that person. That person just cut me off. Oh my God, I just lost my job. Like, God, what do I do? Who am I? And then it becomes a question. The what do I do question was really like triggering for me because I'm a person that always has to have a job.
Triggering in what way? Good or bad?
Bad. In a way that I'm just like, what do I do next? God, I'm in school. I have to pay for my apartment. I have to pay for my car. My mom's stressed out. I'm an oldest sister, by the way.
So that's a lot of added pressure. How much other siblings?
I have 3 other siblings.
All girls, boys?
2 girls, 1 boy.
So the boy even made it worse for you. So yeah, that's why I had to ask. If it was all boys, I'd have said a prayer for you.
No, yeah, I got 2 sisters and 1 brother. Shout out to my kids. But I felt just a lot of pressure to just figure it out. Because I feel like growing up, especially in a Haitian household, there's a lot of pressure to figure it out. Yeah. You can't just really sit in the midst of just like the quietness and just allow God to speak to you. You always have a constant need to figure it out. So I felt like when things started going left and I couldn't figure it out, I started to feel so like low in myself. Like, like what's going on? So instead, and I was depressed for a while, but that's why I just love Jesus. I love Jesus so much because even in the midst of like you at your lowest, he's still going to find some way to save you, which is why Romans 8:28, I live by. I ain't tatted on me yet because, you know, I'm trying to chill. But I love that verse because, no, God really does work everything together for my good. Like, I'm a testament of that. And I found, like I said, I didn't have college friends. But for some reason, during COVID, all the girls started, like, just immersing me with so much love and just so much, oh my God, Nelly, you're so nice. Oh my God, Nelly, let's be friends. And I'm just like, okay, God, like, I see you working. So I took that and I was like, you know what? I feel like a lot of my friendships failed because we couldn't have deeper conversations.
I like that you said that because I hate small talk. I say this day in and day out. If it doesn't have a purpose, like, granted, you got to get to know the person. Yeah. But small talk, I rebuke that.
Surface level, I rebuke not that. Really for me. But it's not that we were having small talk. We were talking, gossiping.
Oh.
Let's talk.
That's real.
Let's talk about it.
That's real.
We were talking about everything else than what actually mattered. Like things like holding each other accountable. I feel like that was so important in so many of the friendships that I lost, because even though I feel like accountability for me, I can hold myself accountable. Like truly within myself, accountability is not a problem for me. But I feel like within friendships, I try not to like step on people's toes, because, you know, people can misconstrue accountability for envy, jealousy, hatred.
Really? How so? I never heard that.
Oh, I mean, of course it's based off of communication.
No, but granted, you know, there's not a lot of people I hold accountable because I only allow a certain amount of people in my space, and I know who's ready to hold accountability. But I never heard anybody think, hey, I'm trying to hold you accountable and make you a better person, but you think I'm being envious.
Nah, but you gotta understand, people don't like to listen about their own baggage. Like,
okay,
they don't like that, you know? And of course, I do believe communication plays a very big part in that. And I can't necessarily say that back then I was the biggest communicator, because I was young. Yeah. What did I know about communicating for real? So I feel like when I got to college and I started learning more about psychology and how the mind works and how people work, I was like, okay, maybe I should say things this way instead of that way now. But not a lot of people also have that knowledge and have that education to understand that too. So I felt like once God took me through that process, it was easier for me to communicate in such a way where you understand that this accountability is coming from love and not from envy and hatred and jealousy, you know?
So one thing that's coming to mind, because you said earlier you found your identity in those friends. You're still you're having these thoughts, you're in the situation, God's taking you out of it. How did you not do the same thing with the new friends that you had? Like, you mentioned accountability, having deeper conversations, but how did you not fall into what you fell into before?
Oh, I did. That's the funny thing about God. He gonna test you a little bit to see if you learned your lesson.
So how did you go through that and get out of that and not let that become a repeated cycle?
So I feel like I went through it a couple of times before I finally found my footing, right? And the couple of times that I went through it, I realized that, okay, I'm handling this situation the way I used to handle other situations, which is me, I go quiet. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, you go quiet? Like
in a sense of, I isolate myself. So if there's something going on between me and a friend and I don't necessarily know how to communicate about it, and this is my trauma, I'm just speaking my piece. I went to therapy, just chill.
I like that you went to therapy. Most people don't go to therapy. Therapy is amazing. I say this every time it's mentioned on the pod. Therapy is amazing.
We all need it. It's so essential. Yeah. But so I realized, like, okay, whenever I feel some type of way or whenever I feel hurt or sad about what a friend did to me, I'm gonna isolate myself and I'm just gonna go quiet, right? And a couple of times it did happen with like friends that were really close to me, but I would just keep praying, like, God, I can't shake this off of me. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop crying about it. Like, what do I do? And he was like, just talk. Just talk. No, seriously, like, express how you feel. It doesn't have to be one of those things where you're coming at a situation so angry, because that was one of my biggest things.
Yeah, I definitely fell into that too.
I was raised in a Haitian household. We don't talk, we scream. We scream.
Yeah.
We don't learn how to communicate effectively. So it's like, when it comes to situations, you don't want to hurt this person because you love them, but you also are filled with so much rage and so much emotion that you don't know what to do with all of that. So I had to really navigate, like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Because that was one of the biggest things that I had to learn in therapy, because I would misinterpret my feelings. Like, I would feel sad, but I'm actually disappointed. I would feel hatred, but I'm actually just angry. You know, like,
gotcha. You would misconstrue your emotions.
Exactly. But it's so important to call an emotion for what it is instead of what you want it to be.
But how did you learn to identify which one's which? Because if you don't know how to communicate, you that much more don't know how to, you know, feel your emotions or know which emotions you have, because you're not even speaking or feeling through that.
Right. You got to look at the situation for what it is and not what you feel like it is. Because
I see. Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah.
Because somebody could wrong you, right? Yeah. And you have to understand that there's different perspectives when it comes to a situation. Somebody may see things this way and you may see things another way.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I feel like once I started to understand, like, okay, you have this perspective and I have this perspective. Two different perspectives, different emotions, but same problem. Yeah. Right? So I started to think of other people's perspectives, which is a slippery slope because you can't think too much of other people's perspectives without navigating your own. But you also, it's like putting yourself in someone's shoes, I guess you can say. So I would put myself in other people's shoes, like, okay, how are they seeing this situation? And after I like conclude that, now it's like, okay, let's have a conversation to confirm, because assumptions will kill you. Okay, like that was the biggest things for me. Just assuming like, oh, this person wanted to hurt me. This person doesn't like me. This person hates me.
Yeah, if you get in your own head, 9
9
times out of 10, you're
hurting yourself. Yeah. You're hurting yourself. So I had to feel like, okay, let me get out of my head and let's go have a conversation. So now it's like, now it's different levels though. First level was self-accountability. Then it was navigating your emotions. Then it was, okay, let's go talk. And then you come to a resolution, you know? So now I'm like, okay, let me talk to my friend. Let me see, what were you thinking when you did that to me? What were you feeling like? How was everything going? And I feel like after that conversation, that kind of helped me with navigating a lot of stuff in my life, like communicating a lot of stuff in my life, not just hoarding in my emotions and isolating myself. And don't get me wrong, I still do it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're not perfect. And
yeah, but it all comes down to just allowing God to do the work in you. That's how I feel. Like day by day, time after time, I feel like slowly but surely things are changing. You know, you just got to take baby steps.
Yeah, as long as you're receptive to the lesson.
Yeah.
Because I remember I went through the same thing when it comes to my emotions and being angry and seeing things outside of the context, or even just wanting things my way, that I would be yelling at my friends like, yo, let's go. I got somewhere to be, you know, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But it wasn't until I had those conversations with them, and shout out Green. He's the main person that taught me patience. And I say this whenever patience is mentioned or insinuated on the podcast, because he's the slowest person. He's not like slow mentally, but he purposely moves at his own pace.
Yeah.
And he taught me to like not rush, but to see the value in in the good habit that I have, which is being scheduled, being routine, having an itinerary, but also going with the flow and going off of instincts and knowing when to switch, when to pivot. He taught me that, but it
took some time.
It took some time. It took some yelling. It took some shouting. It took some physically pushing them out the door.
Yeah, and we love friends that can go through those seasons with us, because it's not easy seasons to go through.
Yeah.
And you can't just go through it with just anybody. You got to go through it with people that believe in God like you do, or else they're not going to see the purpose in that.
Definitely, the biggest lessons that I learned from my friends and from people around me was God ordained friendship. Like how I found my friends, like him, Greenlight, Akeem, Isaiah, and the lessons I learned from all of them. Like, we found Christ together.
Yeah.
We literally went to a church January 2nd, 2021, because I remember that day, because that was the first day I found my church. I was like, yo, this is my church.
What church you go to?
The Worldwide Kingdom Ministry.
Where is that?
It wasn't Fort Lauderdale, but now it's in Pompano. So shout out Prophet Dr. Curvin did it. So I gotta say that. I gotta honor my spiritual father. But the lessons that they taught me, because it was a God ordained friendship, and we started taking God so serious that despite how we felt towards each other, despite what we said, despite how we moved, we never dropped the friendship.
Right.
Because we knew God put us together, and as we stayed consistent, as we didn't fall out, God started amplifying all of us. Granted, there's still some areas we all need to grow in. We're not all perfect in the friend group, but we wouldn't have learned, or we wouldn't even be where we're at if we didn't take that into consideration. And like you said, talk, have those conversations, teach each other, know where we fall short, and let a friend know and be receptive when they tell us.
Right.
Many times people feel pride, they don't want to have that conversation.
Pride, ego.
Two
biggest killers in the world.
That's facts.
That's real though. And that's great that you can go through that, because a lot of men,
it's hard,
especially, don't really have friends that they can have real conversations with.
And we are vulnerable, bro.
Yes,
it wasn't as men, it wasn't always like that, I'm being honest. Like, all of us didn't really got into the vibe to talk about certain things. Because, yeah, we were around each other. We had relationships despite us for being a collective group. Mm-hmm. But once we started being vulnerable, things started moving.
Right.
Things started
That's
moving.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Definitely. You too as well, man.
Yeah. I'm still building my circle, though, because I feel like one of my biggest prayers for this year, and it's on my vision board, was to find more women that can pour into me. Because I feel like I'm always constantly pouring into other women. And I feel like I haven't met like my community of women that's really gonna go down on their knees and pray on my behalf yet. Don't get me wrong. I got a couple of them that are like really strong level, but they're not all connected. Like, you know how you have one friend here, one friend for this, like one friend for that.
When you try to...
you can't really put all of them together.
When you have best friends in different friend groups, you want to introduce each other.
Because most of my friends too are friends that I've known for years. Like my church friends, basically. Like we all grew up together.
Really?
Yeah, like it's so crazy because we're all in different places these days. But still, we've all connected from all of our experiences that we went through the church, that we're all still kind of like, you know, not all of them, but for the most part, the ones that are in my life, like I've met them at different seasons of my life. So it's just so like refreshing to see us all growing up and, oh my God, you guys are still here. Like that's great.
Real. That's real. I got some OG friends that I had since I was younger, but thinking back, I always been a loner. I ain't gonna lie. Like I never really had like, everybody knew me. I was that cool, quiet kid that just slept in class but would crack jokes here and there and make people laugh, and I was funny. Yeah. But I was always to myself. I always slept at lunch. I always vibed to myself. I never really had like a core circle. I was just that one guy that can just go to different circles because I wasn't
That's cool, though. You was cool.
I mean, I was all right. I wasn't the cool. I wasn't like, you know how people used to think at status, but they all knew me. I knew them. We lived in the same neighborhood. We grew up around each other. Norland, Andover, Miramar High School.
Norland?
Yeah, I went to Norland Elementary.
Aww.
Yeah, so it's like that shows you the different environments that I was in from Miami-Dade to Broward County. So my face is known. I don't know a lot of people by name, but it's like, it wasn't until I started being intentional with where I wanted in my direction, that the direction I wanted to go was when God put me in a group. Wow. And it kind of just happened. Like I started changing my life. I started wanting more, I was actually seeking for God, and Akeem called me and said, hey, let's go to church. We all went. It was actually like 6 or 8 of us because I invited some of my friends. They invited some of their friends. But all 4 of us just stayed the same and stayed there. And it literally just became us. I feel like when you find your direction, that's when God puts people around you. But you just got to continue to be you, continue to be the person. And be intentional and let people know that, you know, you're looking for a group or something like that, or you want to create things. But if you just continue to chase that direction, stay under that direction, and be who you are, God is just gonna put it together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's definitely gonna put it together. What high school you went to?
Miramar High School.
Okay.
What you gotta say? What you gotta say? What you gotta say?
I don't got nothing to say. I don't really know too much about like Broward high schools. I don't got nothing to say because I went to Miami Lakes Tech. There's not really much I could say about nobody's high school for real.
That's true.
My high school wasn't even a real high school.
Why? Oh yeah,
it was a technical school.
Yeah.
We was already working jobs and stuff.
So you talked a lot about the mind. So get into like the body and the third aspect of things.
Okay, so if you follow me, you know that I'm a fitness girly. I love the gym. I go very regularly, and
every day.
Not every. That's crazy. People who do that are crazy.
I respect that.
Like,
I respect that opinion. I respect that
some
opinion.
form of physical activity every day. Like you go for a walk, you could go running, but the gym every day is crazy.
Yeah, I did leg day. I'm kind of
Yeah. Some people be doing like 4 leg days a week. Like,
I mean,
you be doing 4 leg days a week? Don't lie.
No, I'm about to ask you because women, when I say the gym, they just think it's just leg day because they don't want my arms to get big to like a guy. Yeah, they say.
Y'all see these ones? Thank you.
I like you. You funny. You funny.
Thank you. We don't miss arm and back day around here, baby. Okay. I feel like it's important though, because I feel like, well, for me and my body, I like everything to be portioned. So I'm gonna do back day. I'm gonna do arm day. I'm gonna do leg day, glute day. I'm gonna go walking. I'm gonna go running, because I feel like it just gives you a whole balance of everything, you know? But yeah, I recently got into fitness. Oh, let me testify, y'all. During COVID changed my life. I ain't even gonna lie. It changed my life. During COVID, because before, I was always a dancer. Like, praise dancer.
Really?
Yes. I
so
didn't
you was PK and you was really
you just
in
exposed me.
Yeah, I got to.
Yeah, I'm a PK, y'all.
And you was really in church. You was praise dancing.
Yes. Oh, yes. Wow. I was in church. I was praise dancing, singing, doing poetry, acting.
You wanna sing a little? Yeah.
Ooh.
Nah, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Every time somebody, it's crazy because I can actually sing, but I don't like being put on the spot. It got to be one of those things where we just chilling, a song come play, and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep it rolling, and I'm gonna play worship, and yeah, it's gonna.
Oh my God, I was actually worshiping on the way here. That's really? So crazy, like deep. I told you I had to fight to get here.
Okay.
So we had to literally put that worship music on.
See, God is good. God is good.
But yeah, so during COVID, I wouldn't say, I was lazy. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Because I just felt like I was working, going to school. So I didn't really feel like I had time to like take care of my body. Like for me, taking care of my body is just making sure that I look good. I didn't really think about like the internal aspect of things for real. But during COVID, when, people started dying, everyone's like, oh, we got to go work out so we don't get COVID type vibe. So I was like, okay, let me start working out a little bit. Oh my God. The first few months, I was dying. I can't run.
But yet you dance? Isn't dancing like a little more like...
But dancing, you could stay in one spot and do all the moves. Running is
I seen the Zumba class though. The Zumba class be hitting though.
You're right. But then again, at that time though, I stopped dancing. Okay. It's been like a year. So I'm out of shape. Because I was dancing for like majority of my life. But then when I went to school, I stopped dancing. So that was like the only physical activity that I was doing for real. So when I started working out, and mind you, I have friends, shout out to my bestie, because she ate that. But she would be like, let's go run. Because she would be like, let's go run. And I'm like, girl, I don't run. Like, she said, let's go run. Oh my God. I would go outside and run. She gone. She gone. At some point, I was like, girl, I can't even. I'm just going to do me and you just going to do you. But I would be in the back just huffing and puffing. So I was like, okay, God, like, what's going on? I need to take better care of my body because I caught COVID twice.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was bad.
I thought COVID was fake.
No,
because it's
real.
Like nobody around me got COVID.
Oh, thank God for that.
Like, God bless.
Amen.
I thought it was fake because I was still working at the time. I was still working at a restaurant. So despite our restaurants being closed, so I'm like, yo, this thing is just fake.
Bruh,
this thing is just fake. They gotta be fake.
But the second time I caught COVID, that's because I was being somewhat sunny. What am I doing in Puerto Rico during COVID?
How did you come back? Because I thought it was like a whole lockdown.
Nah, at some point you know what I don't understand? How they closed jobs but kept the airport open.
Yeah,
that was crazy. But no, at some point they opened everything back up again, and you just had to wear your mask everywhere for real.
Gotcha.
So we wore our masks, but somehow, some way, still caught COVID. But when I came back, I was like, oh my God. And when I get sick, I get really sick because I also have bronchitis. So I was like, oh, this is bad. I need to take better care of my body. So I started training with I started out with a few trainers here and there to like really test the vibes. And I was just like not really feeling them. Like they just had me dying. And I was like, oh my God.
Part of it. That's part of the journey, you know?
Like... But I shouldn't feel like I'm never gonna make it out of here. You know, so then I started feeling self-conscious because I'm like, oh my God, am I really like never gonna get it together? So then what happened? Oh, I went through a breakup. That'll do it for you.
Yeah.
That'll get you in the gym.
Yeah.
A broken heart?
For speaking for the guys, that'll definitely get you in the gym.
So now I'm working out like I got something to prove. Like get to it, baby. We gotta figure it out. Like, this nigga cannot find you the same way he left you. Like,
I mean, I'll leave that as a gem too. That's a gem right there.
Listen, you going through a heartbreak, go to the gym, bro. You cannot lose going to the gym. When I tell you, I'm in there, I'm crying, I'm hysterical. Like, what is going on? But my body looked teased. My body looked teased. So I was like, I couldn't even be mad for real. And then, because during my relationship too, mind you, he's still laughing at me.
I need some water.
During my last relationship, I gained like 25 pounds. So I was fat for the first time. Mind you, I always danced. So I always had like a, slim body.
Yeah.
I got in a relationship and I gained 25 pounds.
Don't they call that happy weight though, right?
There was nothing happy about that. My clothes don't fit.
But
I'm getting in arguments.
That was happy weight.
No, you know why I couldn't be happy? Because I felt like, yes, I was happy because whatever, I'm in a relationship. You always happy during the first few months.
Of course,
now I done gained all this weight. Mind you, I'm on the thicker side of things. So things don't fit me like they fit petite girls. Now my man looking at me like, you just want to show your body off to the world. And I'm like, no, sir, my clothes don't fit me. None of my clothes fit me. Like, but for real, like, that was like one of the biggest problems in our relationship because he felt like I was always very provocative and not gonna lie, accountability. I ain't gonna lie to you. But most of the reasons was because my clothes just didn't fit me and I didn't have the means to go and purchase a whole new wardrobe. So I was like, so when I got out of the relationship, I'm like, damn, this nigga done made me gain all this weight, left me, and now I still don't got no clothes. Like, I'm going to the gym.
Gotcha.
I'm going to the gym. But yeah, I started working out and my body just started changing. But what I realized was, because I did like maybe 3 months with a trainer and she was phenomenal. Shout out to Pep. She was phenomenal. Like, she got my body right in like 3 months. And then I couldn't afford her anymore. So I was like, you know what? Let me just figure this out on my own. I came out with a workout split. I started researching. I started like focusing more on like what I'm intaking in my body. And that just completely shifted everything for me. Like, now I'm lifting weights. Like, mind you, I just said I couldn't run. And now I'm lifting like weights like men.
I need to see that to believe that. But
we on the pod. I ain't gonna show you no videos. I ain't even gonna do it right now. You don't believe me? Like,
I need to see that too. I mean,
how much you weigh?
140, 150 now actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really like that.
We'll see.
I really like that.
We'll see.
He ain't see my muscles, y'all. He must not know.
We'll see.
But anyways, yeah. So that became part of the I have so many different personalities. That became part of like the body aspect of things, and then of course the soul was spiritual. Off back, I had to get my spirituality in check, and by spirituality, once again, I mean Christian. Thank you.
So, you're a PK, right? You grew up in church. Many times people think, people sometimes say PKs, problem child, they go out in the world, things of that nature, whatever stigma people want to put on PKs. How was it for you chasing, not chasing, but working on your spiritual journey despite you growing up in church, learning the lessons that you did? Were you already did you already have a foundation in God, or did you have to restart your foundation once you found out who you are, once you found out your identity and things like that?
That is a very loaded question. We could go so many ways with this. Because growing up as a PK, right? Oh, yeah, this is going to be a hard conversation.
Is it okay if you get vulnerable?
No, it's okay. I just don't want to out my daddy.
You
feel me? But I love my dad. I really do. Like, he's been my superhero for a very long time until I learned how to save myself. And yeah. I grew up, and that's why I'm so good at public speaking. That's why I'm so good at motivating people, because I grew up watching him motivate and speaking life into so many different people. He was healing so many different people. We used to go to Haiti back and forth like during the summers, and my mom would just pack up all this food. Like, she would send like 5 boxes to Haiti, just full of food, clothes, all of that. Y'all already know how that go. If you was you know.
They blow the doom, just
the big doom. No, but it was dooms, boxes, our suitcases. We couldn't even pack real clothes.
They had to wrap it with like tape or saran.
Yes. So because of that, around the summer, we would have this thing called conférence, which is basically like a conference, the church's birthday type stuff. And the whole week would just be a series of different events. So we would have events where we're giving out medicine, we're giving out food, we're giving out clothes. We have things for the children because he also has a school there as well. We're just doing so many different activities, and I just used to love it because we were pouring so much into the community. And that's why I'm so big on community myself, because I just feel like that's what God calls us to do, pour back into our community.
Yeah, thanks.
But it would be so disheartening when I would go to Haiti and my superhero would come back and become a completely different person. The dad that I had in Haiti was not the dad that I had in Miami.
Yeah.
It was very disheartening. This is my superhero. I look up to him, but he's just so different when he comes back here. And I get it, because in Haiti, he has no bills. He's basically glorified because he's a pastor. He has his family there. But then when he comes here, he has to act like a commoner. So I can understand how that switch for him is very confusing to him. God, what do I do? And plus, he also went through a series of events where he also did have a church here. He was building a church here, and because of ego and pride, not on his side, but on people that he trusted, he had to leave.
Wow.
Yeah. And it got very scary for a little bit. They tried to kill him. Yeah, Haitians, I don't know. I love y'all, but certain things are just disheartening.
It's hard that we can come together sometimes, but it's always short-lived.
For sure.
It's always short-lived.
Because a lot of Haitians are so prideful and egotistical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's either my way or the highway. But it's so confusing too, because we preach religion so much.
And that's the wrong thing to preach.
That's the wrong thing to
relationship.
preach.
I learned from my spiritual father, it's relationship we're supposed to preach.
Exactly.
Because religion confines you. It's like you're carrying a wooden paddle.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they feel like it's my way or the highway, or prided, or
they feel entitled.
You feel entitled
to what God owns, though, which don't make sense.
I like that.
Don't make sense. It does not belong to you. We don't belong to you. You, as children, for our parents, yes, you've had us, but we still belong to God at the end of the day. And don't get me wrong, my mom instilled that in me, that you are God's child.
Yeah.
You feel me? And that's what I appreciated growing up, because even though, on one aspect, I got a lot of beneficial things from my dad, but in a lot of aspects, most of my relationship came from my mom and my grandma. Even though my dad was just weird, I can't even really tell you. I can't really tell you because I don't want to bash my daddy. I love my daddy.
It's okay.
But he was weird. And I just remember my mom praying through it. My grandma singing through it. Us just rejoicing through it.
So that's where you got your prayer, your worship.
That's where I got all that from. And that helped. Till this day, this is what saved me. When I'm having these days where I'm just dang, God, I don't know, things looking kind of upside down. He's just just worship me. Just worship me. Trust me. And I'm just okay. Yeah. I remember those tunes. Growing up. And I'm just literally today, I was on TikTok and I heard a Haitian song. I can't even tell you if I remember it for real. But I was just oh my gosh, those days when we just used to just bask in church and conference and everyone's just singing and you could just feel the glory of the Lord. You can't even really speak for real because you're just so engulfed in it. Those used to be the days. But as a PK, growing up was very difficult because I had a foundation in Christ. I couldn't do things like people did them. I couldn't walk the way people walked.
Gotcha. So you already had a foundation.
Yeah.
So did you have to to break it? I don't want to say something basic as break it down, build it back up, but you already had that foundation. But you have your identity, you have yourself. How was that for you and building up your spiritual life in that way now?
Well, I definitely, even though I had the foundation, I think I had to really change the perception of the foundation because most of the foundation was based off of judgment. religion, culture, you know? Yeah. So when I got to school and I'm seeing so many different people, so many different clubs, Christian clubs here, Christian clubs there, I'm just like, dang, what do I do now?
So speaking of that, do you feel as if like the Christian wave has been booming now? Because I don't know if the algorithm just been doing its thing. Because it's like, but latest I found Christ and everything. I'm seeing events. I'm seeing artists blow up.
We're in the end of times.
Huh?
We're in the end of times.
Okay, true.
Everyone is rising up. Young people, old people, it don't matter. At the end of the day, every knee shall bow. That's how I feel for it. No mean to get too spiritual and you know.
Nah,
but let's look at the signs for real. You feel me? Like Jesus is coming soon, so everyone is, they getting it together.
Yeah,
that's how I feel for real.
Everybody, like I'm like,
no, people that I followed, like influencers, for instance, that I followed for years, are literally speaking the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Jesus.
And 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if you'd have seen me, you'd have been like, yo, who is this guy now? I'm being honest. But it's like, it's crazy what I see now.
Yeah. I love it though. But I think for me, I would hope that we all didn't have so many opinions.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, we're on a podcast right now, so I'm not shaming any podcast for real. But I just feel like Christian influencers, I don't know why they don't really like do it for me for real, because I just feel like there's too many opinions and not enough spirit, in my opinion.
What do you mean? What do you mean by opinion? Like too many opinions?
Like, okay,
like how they should walk with Christ. How
your walk should look like. How you should talk like.
The message that they're preaching. Got you.
Judging people for what their walk looks like, even though it looks different from yours. Because I feel like one of the biggest things that I had to like redo in my mind was how my walk was supposed to look like, because I'm raised in church, so it's like, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, if you do this, you're going to hell, if this happens, God doesn't love you. But as soon as I started growing up, and I became so shameful, because I'm like, oh my God, like I spent so many years like telling people not to do this, not to do that, not to do this, not to do that, and now I'm doing it. What do I do now? And I think that's what a lot of people are messing up, because when you get in that space, you don't know what to do anymore. And now you're falling to sin and you don't know who to go to anymore because you're too shameful to go to God. So what I started doing was just really learning about the love of God rather than his judgment. And I feel like the more I learn about the love, the more I understand why he doesn't want us to do the certain things that people call rules. Yeah. He's just trying to save our lives. Yeah. And give us a better life. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's literally so simple, but because people are so opinionated, I guess you can say, it brings off this pressure to just be perfect. And I don't think your walk with Christ is anywhere near perfect. If anything, it's so beautiful, but it's the most ugliest thing you're going to have to experience.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Pruning?
It's going to come. Oh, I like that you say pruning, but it's going to come with heartbreak. It's going to come with disappointment, feeling embarrassed. Oh, man, you name it, man.
Like, literally the other day, I went to Bible study on Wednesday. Shout out to the cool church.
Shout out Matt. I love Matt.
Shout out to the cool church. I went to Bible study the other day, and somebody gave the analogy, like, being with Christ is kind of like him throwing you in a washer.
Wait, say that again?
Walking with Christ is kind of like him, when you start to walk with Christ, it's kind of like him throwing you in the washer. Okay. You have to go through different cycles, different things until you finally become clean for real. Yeah. You have to, because there's certain things in you that you didn't even know is still in you for real. Things from your childhood, things from your past that you haven't dealt with. All of that starts to resurface once you start to learn who you are in Christ.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. I can attest to that because I went through therapy in the church because they had a counselor in the church.
Oh, that's cool.
And I related with the woman, and she taught me a lot about my childhood and everything. And she taught me to go back in the Bible, and that definitely opened up a lot about myself to why I felt so numb with emotions, why I didn't want to communicate. And I was, even after counseling and therapy, I learned some more stuff that I was dealing with just in my own journey in Christ and working, serving in the church, especially with dealing with embarrassment. That was, I feel like, as we mentioned disappointment, embarrassment, all these other things, God is going to highlight that one emotion first. And you're going to have to submit to learning the lesson by going through that emotion, feeling through it, not hardening your heart to what you're supposed to feel or how you're supposed to move in that.
Yeah.
Once you learn and feel through that, then you'll learn, and every other emotion that you'll be dealing with is easier. But that one emotion, some people it's anger. Some people it's embarrassment. Some people it's disappointment, and you name it when it comes to the emotions. Many people are probably even are thinking about their emotion, but for me it was embarrassment.
Yeah.
I used to ignore everything around me, bro. Like when say if I'm talking to you, I feel embarrassed. You're talking to me, but you're not talking to me. I'm focused, tunnel vision, dead eye. I had to get out of that and grow the habit and looking to you, understanding.
So you're
avoidant. But only I was avoidant. I'm not avoidant anymore. When it came when it came to that moment, and my spiritual mother taught me that, bro, it was tough.
It was tough, but you got through it though. Applause for that, because it's hard.
Recently. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's been a year or no. Recently, a couple months.
We celebrate small wins over here, okay? A win is a win.
Yeah, and that's part of the journey. And
it is.
But you just got to understand where you are on your spiritual journey and understand where your foundation is, if you have a foundation,
and where you're going. I feel like a lot of people don't. I'm not gonna say they don't want to be clean necessarily. They kind of want to serve God, and I'm talking for myself too. But they want to serve God, but not give up the things that they give up their things to Him, like their baggage and stuff of that nature, their habits. Like they just want to serve God and get like the benefits of God. God don't work like that. You have to submit these things to Him for Him to purify you, for Him to clean you. And I'm still going through the transition, so sometimes I feel like I'm not. How do I say this? I'm not the one to speak about these things because I'm still in them. That has been a big thing for me. I have like conversations with my best friend where I'm like, I don't think I can make this video because I'm like still doing this. Remember when I told you how I wanted to start the podcast? That was one of the reasons why I was like, maybe I'm not ready because I still got a lot of work to do, God.
That's true.
I'm being real. Like And I don't think I'm ever going to be perfect, no. But I do feel like at the level that I'm at with God, there are certain things that I should have let go already. And I keep asking myself, like, why am I still holding on to these things?
And did you find out why?
No.
I was hoping for like a golden nugget right there.
I'm still seeking, y'all. Pray for me. Because a lot of people do know this about me if you follow me, but I'm in the bottle service industry, which a lot of people wouldn't. I know a lot of people are very confused, like when they're on my page, because they're like, okay, she a public speaker. Okay, she a motivational speaker. Oh, she does bottle service. Oh, okay, this like there's so.
That's real.
I'm not even lying to y'all, but it's because they don't know my story. Like I said, my house is very dysfunctional. So when I went to college, I went back home after my first summer semester in college, and when it was time to go for fall, I couldn't go. I had social anxiety to the max. Just sitting. No, it was bad because all I know are my church friends. I go to school. I don't talk to nobody. I don't be around nobody. So in high school, I would eat lunch by myself. Sometimes I would have like a few friends here and there.
So you was in the same place
That's why
as me.
I said you was cool, because I was cool. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't that cool. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But like I said, people knew me, but I just didn't talk to them. I had really bad social anxiety because I went through so many stuff in middle school that was like just so traumatic to me that when it came to like building and forming connections with other people, I was just like, I can't. But I trusted my church friends because we all go to church together. Like we all praise and worship together. You see me cry, you know my business, I know your business.
Yeah.
You know?
They seen you go to the altar call.
Yeah,
and
you know, so you already know my tea. I don't even got to do too much for real. But when I got...
Go ahead. I'm sorry for laughing.
Okay. It's okay. I know I'm funny. But when I got to college, my fall semester financial aid wasn't looking good. I said, you know what, God? I feel like it's you. You don't want me to go to school this semester. I'm lying. I just didn't want to go because I got social anxiety. Like I couldn't make friends. I was like so scared. Like I would literally go to events because I was a part of this program called Golden Scholars. I would go to their events and I would sit by myself. if my roommate wasn't there at that time, I would just sit by myself. Like, I would talk here and there. Like, if you talk to me, I'll talk to you because I'm one of those people. But to, like, put myself out there and just be forward, I was timid. And then after fall, I was like, you know what? I can't live like this anymore. Something is broken in my family, and I don't think I have the means to fix it. I have to go out there and figure out what can I do and try to bring it back to see if we could try to mend something. So
I respect that.
Yeah, so I left. I literally packed up all my stuff, and I didn't even give my parents a warning. I packed up all my stuff.
Moved out.
And I moved out.
And you stayed there.
I did give them a little warning, though. I said, Mommy, I'm leaving. She said, you're not going nowhere. Da-da-da-da-da. Who do you think you are? Oh,
baby.
I'm doing apartment tours, y'all boys. Like, she just don't know. I put the depot down a long time ago. She like, oh, you're not going nowhere. Da-da-da-da-da. One day, I put all my stuff in bags. I called my friends. I said, come get me. They gave me my apartment key. I said, Mama, I'm gone. But then again, I wasn't even that far from her for real. Y'all boys. Yeah. She was in Pembroke Pines. I was in Biscayne.
I mean, that's in traffic. With traffic, Biscayne? Traffic to get out of Biscayne is like an hour.
On the other side of the world. But I still needed my space. Yeah. Like, I still moved on campus. Like, I was still in school.
Gotcha.
So, but that transition, though, I was not prepared for that.
How so?
The real world is scary.
What do you mean? Because, like, I've been there. I moved out of state for college. Mm-hmm. So walk us through, like, what do you mean by it was scary?
Okay, so I didn't have a job when I moved out. Or I think I just got fired from my job. One of those. Because I used to work at, like, Victoria's Secret. And then out of nowhere, I got fired. So now I'm like, dang, how am I going to pay for rent? You know, financial aid, they pay, like 3 months. And then the other months, you got to figure out. But besides rent, what are you going to eat? You have a car. How you going to pay a car payment? Yeah. You know, like, just trying to figure things out. So then I go and get a full-time job while being a full-time student at this place called Chewy, customer service place. Now I'm losing my mind because I have to work from 3 to 11 and go to school from 8 to 2. Don't do that, y'all. I was literally just bombarded with what real life feels like.
Like managing,
going to school, finally taking care of myself. And thankfully, I don't have, well, my mom did say I told you so, but she still supported me. Like, thankfully, I have that parent that's like, oh, here's this. Like, still supporting me in that aspect because, you know, I'm still in school. I feel like for Haitian parents, as long as you're still going to school, you're good. But she just didn't like how I moved out, you know? Yeah. But I didn't realize at the time, though, that it was forming me into this woman that was going to be unstoppable. Because at that time, I'm depressed, I'm drinking, I'm smoking. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. All college kids, though, we're all stressed out. We're like, what do we do? Like, just trying to navigate life and try to really figure it out. But it wasn't until I graduated college that real life really hit for real. It wasn't even when I moved out, because at some point, you know, I kind of got the little flow of things. Now you're year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. But I started serving, I think, right after COVID, because I was like, all right, these 9-to-5s, they're not making no money for real. I need to go serve. So I started, because I had to pay rent, so I started doing bottle service. One of my friends was like, oh, why don't you do bottle service? You're so pretty. You have a nice body. I don't even know what it is yet. I don't go to clubs. I don't know nothing. So I go to this first club, the first club that I worked at, and I'm like, I feel like an uneasy spirit, because I'm like, oh, God, this don't really feel like it's of you, but I need the money. But I need the money. So it's like, what do I do? So they end up hiring me, and I'm like, I still feel uneasy about it, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just make my money and get out of here. But I wasn't the type of girl to, like, indulge too much and make connections with people that I was around. Like, yes, I'm nice. I'm the quiet girl. Like, nobody really knows me. But they don't know that I'm low-key freaking out in my mind because I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. And it's so crazy because around that time, my mom finally comes to my apartment one day. She don't know I'm doing bottle service. I'm like, Mom, I got to go to work. She said, okay. I got to come home at 4 o'clock in the morning. She's at my apartment. I come home, you know, bottle service, like, you gotta, you know? Yeah. But I'm covered up so she don't see me. So I come home, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. She said, oh, Nelly, why you coming home so late? I said, oh, I just came from work. She said, what kind of work do you do? I said, I work in the club.
That's real. That's real. I know that conversation was
they hated it. They hated it, bro. Like, my grandma forbid it. Like, she was like, no, pas qu'à faire bagaille comme ça. Et pas bagaille chrétien. Et petit pasteur, oh yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm about to do. But fast forward, my grandma dies. I get fired from that job. And now I'm like, God, maybe it's time that I leave for real. And then I get another job in that same industry. And then I get another job in that same industry. Now, this is basically practically half of my income. I live in Miami. There's nothing to do for real. Like, yes, I'm in my career, but in the beginning stages, you don't make as much money as you're supposed to. But I'm just like, whenever I have these conversations with people, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be patient. Like, God's going to take me out of this. I don't know how. I don't know when. Because if it's up to me, I'm going to go make my money. Like, I'm being real. I'm going to go make my money. Because I'm the oldest daughter. My mom's stressed out. She don't know what to do certain times. Everyone in the family think I'm rich. Everyone asking for money. Everyone looking here. Everyone looking there. So I always feel like I have to figure it out. Then we go back to the whole not sitting still and just figuring things out. And going based off your own strength. So now that I'm getting older and now that I'm like really walking with the Lord, I'm like, okay, God, like, I see you transitioning me. I see you transitioning me slowly but surely. I see you transitioning me. And I have to learn how to be obedient. So when you do tell me certain things, that I adhere to them and not go based off of my own strength. So I don't know how to like really navigate certain things, but I leave it all up to God for real.
That's real. Because
if it's up to me, like, I'm not even gonna come here and cap and be like, oh, I'm the most obedient person in the world.
That's your journey, and you're putting it out there for people to relate and learn from it.
For sure. But it's so confusing to me too, because God gave me so many gifts. Like, I be in the club praying for people, y'all.
That's good. That's
good. No shade, no tea, because it's like sometimes, you know, the club is full of so many spirits and you can feel them. So I feel like sometimes I have deep conversations with these people, conversations that they probably can't even tell their families. Like, it feels like I'm a full-on therapist sometimes over there.
You are studying psychology.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. You know, where the money?
Yeah. Oh, man.
You know, so it's like, I feel like no matter where you are, God is going to work everything together for your good. Like,
so within your journey, within teaching people mind, body, and spirit, what would you say, you know, as we close things out, what would you say is the number one thing you want to make sure they know and they carry going on this journey, hearing your story, and all these things?
Trust God. I know it's 2 words, but it's so important because it saves you so many time from so much time from trying to do things off your own strength. Because I feel like that's what led me to a lot of the places in my life that I'm just trying to figure it out on my own. I have to figure it out on my own. And God's just like, no, just trust me. Trust me. Go here, go there, go here, go there. And I'm just like, no, God, like, I have to go here. I have to go there. And he's like, trust me. That's one of the biggest things that I feel like really could have changed some things in my journey for me. Just simply trusting God. And once you do, he is going to show you how to take care of your mind and your body and your soul. And you'll bloom,
so
essentially.
What's next? Gotta ask, what's next?
Yeah, that's real. So up next, I'm definitely gonna go back to school because I really want to.
You mentioned school. Are you doing more conferences too, or like how often are
right now? That's kind of on hold because I really want to learn more. I feel like I've taught the girls like the basic things of how to do certain things, but I really want to get deeper into like knowing the knowledge behind psychology for real, like
before
the practical. Before the practical practices. That way, I can make myself a little bit more credible, and this isn't just advice. You know, like now people can actually come to me for certain things because I'm credible in them. I don't want to just talk about it anymore, but I want to actually have it like, you know, in my hands. So I want to go back to school. I think about doing conferences here and there, but it's just so much that goes into that because I pay for everything.
Yeah, I mean,
sponsorships here and there, yes, but everything's on me.
That's true. It's usually like that in the beginning.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Trust God. I do trust God because ain't no way as a server, my very last conference as a server, that conference itself was $10,000 and I paid for everything.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. That takes a lot.
Shout out to my sponsors, though. I love y'all, but
that definitely takes
it's a lot.
Takes a lot of commitment. So, in all this, how would people connect with you, or what would you say is the best way for somebody to connect with you to help support you in the conferences, or to connect with you on the many things that you're ready, able, and willing to teach them, or just whatever you want them to connect with you with?
You guys can always follow me on Nelly.beautiful on Instagram. There you can probably email me, whatever, because I do want to start speaking and hosting more conferences. I wouldn't mind doing that aspect of things instead of like, and hosting, I mean like hosting other people's conferences or other people's events and stuff of that nature rather than doing it on my own. So yeah, guys, book me. Thank you. Help me leave the bottle service industry.
Amen. Amen. I love it. So, at the end of the day, my name is Olivia J. Darcis. I'm here with Nelly. Don't laugh. That's my name.
No, it's cute, but I'm just, every time I walked in, y'all, I'm sorry, I know we going over. I walked in, I said, what's your name? He said, Olivier.
It's Olivier, man.
He is so, but period.
So, my name is Olivier J. Darcis. I'm with Nelly, public speaker. You name it.
Yeah, everything.
You name
Live
it.
it, everything.
We're here helping you do the do to do life well.
Bye, guys.
Peace. Hey, wait, if you like this episode, make sure to check out similar ones like this. I don't know which side it's going to be on, but you pretty much get the idea. And if this episode helped you think better, perform on a higher level, and, be a little more confident, make sure you share this video with somebody that might need it, that might need that extra boost, and also hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because I want to continue to see the impact that this platform, this podcast is having on the entire world. So make sure you check it out. Peace.